My daughter was kidnapped by a vampire. Please, help us. I have $500,000 for you now, and I will pay you another $2 million when you bring my daughter home safely.
It may be too late.
I'm not an anime guy, but Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust are among my favorite vampire movies of all time. And you can just imagine my disappointment when I played the Vampire Hunter D game and it sucked. This is a game that's based on the second Vampire Hunter D movie, and it is just awful. In this game, D is just a stiff plank of wood with a sword. He moves and fights horribly. Like if the D from this game fought the D from the movies, he would be decapitated in seconds. In essence, Vampire Hunter D for the PlayStation 1 is a survival horror game in the same vein of, say, Resident Evil, and it plays much like Resident Evil, but instead of guns, you have magic spells, you have your melee attacks with the sword, and you have a whole bunch of items you can use, like you can throw a grenade. And by the way, these items, completely useless. Like, check this out. I throw a grenade, watch when it explodes. It takes like 10 seconds for the grenade to explode after I throw it. The enemies are already dead because I sliced them up, and then the grenade explodes. Yeah, thanks a lot, grenade. Is this a grenade or a firework to celebrate my melee victory? Come on, what's the point? Me and the enemy have enough time to have some tea and crumpets before this thing explodes. And the melee combat, oh god, I don't even want to mention it, but I guess I have to. I mean, it makes up the biggest portion of this game. It's so horrible. Remember how D moved all cool and had really cool epic sword fights with a whole bunch of vampires? Well, that ain't gonna happen in this game. In this game, D just stands perfectly still, and then you spam sword attacks at the enemy. Here's Vampire Hunter D fighting one of the most powerful and ancient vampires alive on Earth. Notice how the vampire doesn't fight back. He just kind of stands there. See, he can't fight back as long as I spam the attack button fast enough. Fantastic, isn't it? No, we're not going to evade or move around like in the movie. What's the point? Just stand perfectly still like a plank of wood. Oh no, you can evade, but the thing about that is there is a delay to the movement. You double tap back and D jumps back, but it takes him about like a second or a little under a second to jump back. I would say this evade technique is useless, but it isn't, because the enemy's attacks are so slow. Your delayed reaction time matches up perfectly with how slow, delayed, and worthless the enemy's main attacks are. It's like the awfulness of the AI cancels out the awfulness of the controls. It's like covering your body in feces to mask the scent of a skunk. Like in the movie, D has his smart-talking hand, but the hand really isn't interesting in this game. It's just kind of bland. You slice up some enemies and the hand kind of sucks up their essence to refill your magic point meter, or whatever it's called. It's the meter that allows you to perform magic spells. And you have a few magic spells to perform. Any enemies you kill with your magic attacks, you can just as easily kill by spamming your sword attacks. I think the only real useful magical spell is the one that heals you. That's the one you should save up your magic for. Is it just me, or does Vampire Hunter D look like a bisexual Clint Eastwood? Or maybe a gothic scarecrow?
Don't tell me you saved me. I didn't ask you for that. You think I should be grateful, don't you?
I was just doing my job.
I'm Layla, a member of the Marcus Brothers. Who are you anyway?
I'm Vampire Hunter D, a member of the Marx Brothers. Do you happen to know who's on first? And as bad as the actual combat controls and physics are, the movement is even worse. D runs forward fast enough, but turning is just impossible. You literally have to stop and then manually turn like you're winding a clock whenever you want to go into a different direction. If you turn while running, it just won't work right. Like whenever there's a door, you have to kind of measure yourself up to the door. You can't just run at the door and press it. Trying to line yourself up with the door, it takes some effort. It's kind of like double parking a car. It's like, this isn't the greatest vampire hunter of all time. This is like a granny who's recovering from leg surgery and can't see too well. Where's that doorknob, Sonny Jim? I'm missing my stories. Oh, and the camera angles, oh my god. This game suffers from Evil Dead for the PS1 syndrome. The camera angle switches every few seconds as you run, and the camera angles are the worst in the world. Like, you run into a room, you run forward a little bit, and the camera just jumps to a weird angle to the point where you don't even know which door you just came through. You will run into a room, aimlessly run around it like a chicken with its head cut off because the camera switches like 50 times. Open up a door you think leads to a new room, but it just leads back to the old room because it's the door you came through. Oh, and if there's something like, say, a laser trying to shoot you as you're running through a room, yeah, good luck avoiding that with these controls. It's like anyone could avoid these slow-moving lasers. Vampire Hunter D in the movies could avoid these lasers in his sleep. In this game, he's gonna get hit at least twice every time there is a motion detecting laser in the room. It's just ridiculous. The majority of this game will be running room to room to room, finding key cards to open the door you saw before, and then finding another key card in that door and opening up another door. It's just this horrible maze. For the first 20 or 30 minutes or so, I thought I could keep up with all the doors and all the places you have to go to, but after a while it all just became too much, especially when the different areas of the castle started to intertwine and connect with each other. It just became a clusterfuck of rooms. This isn't a game based on the Vampire Hunter D animes. This is a game based on a hamster in a hamster maze. I feel like the roof is made out of glass, and there's just some aliens doing experiments on me as I run from room to room trying to find the cheese. Vampire Hunter D plain out sucks. I think the only good thing in this game is the graphics and the environments. For what the environments are supposed to be, kind of like a mixture of futuristic, post-apocalyptic, and gothic, it works well. The game looks good, and the sound effects are good too. Dare I say, even the voice acting is pretty good, albeit bland at some points. The aesthetic parts of this game are successful. But the meat and potatoes of this game, the gameplay, the controls, the camera, all of those are just horrible. I mean, seriously, Edward Cullen from Twilight can kick D's ass in this game. If this game is your introduction to the Vampire Hunter D franchise, you simply won't be a fan. Vampire Hunter D for the PlayStation 1 gets an official stanburdman rating of a 4.8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my children of the night.